If you're living with arthritis, you know the feeling. That slow, stubborn ache. The stiffness when you first get out of bed. The kind of tired that makes even the smallest tasks feel like a chore. You're not alone. Not by a long shot. Here in the US, more than 58 million adults are living with arthritis. That's roughly 1 out of every 4 adults. And it's not just about joints. Arthritis can weigh heavy on your mood, your energy, and your ability to enjoy the little things: a walk in the park, a good meal, even laughter with friends. Chances are, you've tried a lot of things. Maybe over-the-counter pain relievers. Maybe prescription meds, creams, patches, you name it. But how often do they give you only short-term relief and not real progress? Here's something many folks still don't realize. You may already have powerful tools for joint support sitting right in your kitchen. I'm not talking about expensive pills or complicated treatments. No need to shell out hundreds of dollars each month on supplements or special diet plans. In fact, the most helpful changes might begin with simple, plant-based foods. Ordinary ingredients. Affordable. Familiar. Available at stores like Walmart, Trader Joe's, or your local grocery store. These foods don't come with shiny labels, but they come packed with potential. Because real food, whole food, isn't just fuel. It can be part of your healing. Certain plant-based proteins are quietly powerful when it comes to calming inflammation. They've been shown to help reduce swelling, support joint flexibility, and gently boost energy. And you don't need to look far. A 1-pound bag of dried beans costs less than $2. A block of tofu? Around $1.50. These humble foods are loaded with protein, fiber, calcium, magnesium, potassium, and yes, even plant-based omega-3s. No need to change your whole lifestyle overnight. Just start with one small shift. Try adding one plant-based dish to your dinner. A bowl of warm lentil stew. A chickpea soup simmered with carrots and garlic. A few slices of pan-seared tofu with greens on the side. That one simple step can be the beginning of a long-lasting change. And here's the good news: you don't have to do it alone. We understand what it's like to live with arthritis, one day at a time. And we believe in small steps, practical choices, everyday foods that make a difference over time. If you're open to trying something natural, something that supports healing, helps with pain, and doesn't come with a long list of side effects, keep listening. Because coming up, we'll explore 3 easy-to-find, plant-based protein sources that are backed by research, friendly to your wallet, and simple to add to your meals. And if something here speaks to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend. Pass it along to someone you care about. You never know, one kind suggestion might change how someone lives with arthritis. 2. Let's talk about one of the most overlooked foods for joint comfort: lentils. They may not be the first thing that pops into your head when you think about easing arthritis pain. But these little legumes are quietly becoming a go-to among health-minded folks who want something natural, affordable, and effective. Lentils usually cost around $1.50 a pound. That's a small price to pay for a powerhouse of nutrients, especially if you're living with sore joints, stiffness, or swelling. Now, here's why lentils deserve a spot on your dinner table. First, they're packed with plant-based protein, and that matters more than you might think. As we age, we naturally lose muscle, including around our joints. Keeping those muscles strong can help support the joint itself, reduce discomfort, and make movement easier. But here's the thing: a lot of high-protein foods in the American diet, like red meat or processed bacon, can actually stir up inflammation if eaten too often. That's where lentils shine. 1 cup of cooked lentils gives you over 18 grams of protein. That's the kind of clean, plant-based fuel your body can use to rebuild without the side effects of cholesterol or heavy digestion. And that's just the start. Lentils bring 4 key nutrients that are especially helpful if you're dealing with arthritis. First up, magnesium, sometimes called nature's muscle relaxer. 1 serving of lentils has about 71 milligrams of it. Magnesium helps ease muscle tension, supports your nerves, and can make those stiff mornings feel a little easier. Next, potassium. You get over 700 milligrams of potassium in a single cup of lentils. This nutrient helps move excess sodium out of your system. That's important because less sodium often means less swelling, and less swelling means less pain in places like your knees, fingers, or ankles. Then there's fiber, and lentils are loaded with it. Over 15 grams per serving. Fiber doesn't just keep things moving in your digestive system. It also helps balance blood sugar, and that can reduce the kind of inflammation that makes joints flare up. And finally, folate, also known as vitamin B9. Lentils provide almost your entire daily need for it. Folate helps lower something called homocysteine, which is linked to joint tissue damage. Keeping that in check can help slow the progression of arthritis. Now you might be thinking that all sounds great, but how do I cook them? Good news. Lentils are simple. No need to soak them overnight. Just rinse, add water or broth, bring to a boil, then simmer for about 20 to 25 minutes. Try adding turmeric, fresh ginger, or black pepper for extra flavor and a bonus anti-inflammatory boost. Want easy ideas? Make a pot of lentil soup with onion, garlic, carrots, and celery. Or toss cooked lentils into a salad with spinach, olive oil, lemon juice, and maybe a sprinkle of feta. You can even use them in tacos instead of ground beef. Or mash them up with spices to make your own veggie burgers. So here's the bottom line. You don't need an expensive plan or a fancy diet. Just work in a few servings of lentils each week. It's a small step, but one that could bring big relief. Because sometimes, the best support for your joints isn't found in a bottle. It's right there in a bowl of warm, nourishing food. 3. Let's take a moment to talk about chickpeas. You've probably seen them in a bowl of hummus or tossed into a salad at places like Panera or Whole Foods. They're small, round, and pale yellow. Nothing fancy. They don't scream health miracle. But don't let their simple look fool you. If you're looking for a budget-friendly food that's comforting, satisfying, and naturally supports your joints, chickpeas just might be one of the best things you can add to your kitchen. At around $1.20 a can, or about $1.50 per pound if you buy them dry, chickpeas give you a big nutritional punch without emptying your wallet. They're easy on the stomach, gentle on digestion, and surprisingly powerful when it comes to easing inflammation and keeping your joints happy. Let's start with the basics: protein. Our bodies rely on protein for repair and strength. And when it comes to arthritis, protein plays a big role in protecting the muscles that surround your joints. When those muscles are strong, your joints don't carry as much of the load. That means less wear, less pain, and more comfort in everyday movements, whether it's getting up from a chair, climbing stairs, or stretching your arms. 1 cup of cooked chickpeas gives you nearly 15 grams of plant-based protein. That's a solid amount, especially when you consider that it comes without the cholesterol or inflammation triggers often found in red meat or processed food. And there's more. Chickpeas come packed with special compounds that help calm your body from the inside out. One of those is something called polyphenol. Now don't worry, you don't need to memorize the word. Just know this polyphenol are powerful antioxidants. They help your body fight off those pesky free radicals, the ones that quietly cause damage to your tissues and make inflammation worse. The polyphenol in chickpeas help reduce that stress, cool down swelling, and support your joints where it counts. Next up is vitamin C. Yes, the same vitamin we often associate with oranges and cold remedies. But here's something many people don't realize: vitamin C helps your body make collagen. And collagen is like a soft cushion between your bones. It gives your joints flexibility, helps them move more smoothly. And when your body lacks collagen, you may start to feel stiffness, grinding, or pain in places like your knees, hips, or hands. Chickpeas quietly help your body keep making that cushion. Now let's talk about magnesium. Each cup of chickpeas delivers close to 80 milligrams of this important mineral. Magnesium helps calm your nerves, loosen tight muscles, and it plays a big role in sleep, which is something a lot of people with chronic pain struggle with. Better sleep means better healing. And when your muscles get a chance to relax, your joints get a break too. And we can't forget fiber. Chickpeas are loaded with it, about 12.5 grams per serving. Fiber isn't just for digestion. It helps balance your blood sugar levels. And when your blood sugar stays steady, your body is less likely to release inflammatory chemicals that make your joints feel swollen or sore. So with every bite of chickpeas, you're not just eating. You're lowering your chances of a painful flare-up. Now, the best part? Chickpeas are easy to work with. You can use canned ones straight from the pantry, just give them a good rinse to wash off the extra salt. Or go with the dry version, soak overnight, then boil gently for about 45 to 60 minutes. You'll get soft, flavorful beans that are ready for just about anything. Need some ideas? Make hummus. Just blend chickpeas with olive oil, lemon juice, a clove of garlic, and a pinch of salt. It's creamy, filling, and perfect as a dip or spread. Try roasting them. Toss with a little olive oil, garlic powder, smoked paprika, and sea salt. Roast at 400 degrees for about 25 minutes. Crunchy, satisfying, and far healthier than chips. Sauté them with bell peppers, onions, and turmeric. Add a splash of broth and serve over rice or greens. It's warm, colorful, and full of anti-inflammatory benefits. Or toss them cold into a summer salad. Arugula, cucumber, cherry tomatoes, a drizzle of olive oil, and a splash of balsamic vinegar. Refreshing and delicious. You can even mash them up with oats, herbs, and spices to make easy vegetarian patties. Bake or pan-fry them for a simple, protein-rich lunch. Chickpeas may not be a headline-grabbing superfood, but in the real world where you need something practical, affordable, and nourishing, they're a quiet hero. They don't need a fancy label or a health trend to prove their worth. They've been feeding families around the world for centuries, and now they can help you support your joints, one humble meal at a time. So next time you're at the store, grab a can or a small bag of dry beans. Because sometimes, the simplest foods are the ones your body thanks you for the most. Let's shine a light on one of the most underrated foods for joint health: tofu. You might not think of tofu right away when it comes to easing arthritis pain or strengthening your bones. Most people picture fatty fish, leafy greens, or maybe some chia seeds. But tofu that's soft, pale block made from soybeans is a quiet powerhouse. It's been a staple in Asian kitchens for centuries, and for good reason. Today, tofu is becoming more common in American homes. You can find it in just about every grocery store: Trader Joe's, Walmart, Whole Foods, often for around $2 for a 14-ounce block. That's a small investment for a food packed with so much goodness. What makes tofu so special? Well, for starters, it's one of the few plant-based foods that give you complete protein. That means it contains all 9 essential amino acids your body needs, just like meat, eggs, or dairy. But unlike animal products, tofu doesn't come with the cholesterol or inflammation risks that can sometimes make joint problems worse. A serving of firm tofu, about 3.5 ounces, or roughly the size of a deck of cards, gives you around 10 grams of protein. That's enough to help you maintain muscle mass, especially as you get older. And that matters, because strong muscles are like a natural support system for your joints. They take pressure off your knees, hips, shoulders, making movement easier and less painful. They even help you stay steady on your feet. Tofu also brings a few special nutrients to the table, the kind that gently support your joints over time. First up, plant-based omega-3s. Tofu contains a type of omega-3 fat called ALA, short for alpha-linolenic acid. It's not as concentrated as what you'd find in fish like salmon, but it still helps calm inflammation. These healthy fats help reduce the little chemical messengers in your body that trigger swelling, stiffness, and soreness. So if you're trying to avoid meat or seafood, tofu gives you a gentle, reliable alternative. Next, let's talk about bone health. Many brands of tofu in the US are fortified with calcium and vitamin D. And that's great news, especially for women over 50, a group more at risk for brittle bones. A single serving of fortified tofu can give you 350 to 450 milligrams of calcium. That's about a third of what most adults need each day. Calcium helps keep your bones strong. Vitamin D helps your body absorb that calcium better. Together, they're like a 1-2 punch against osteoporosis. And then there's something called isoflavones. These are special plant compounds found in soy. They have a structure that's similar to estrogen, but they don't mess with your hormones the way people sometimes fear. In fact, research shows isoflavones may actually reduce joint pain, especially in people with rheumatoid arthritis. They help improve mobility, reduce inflammation, and support the soft tissues around your joints. Now, if you're thinking, okay, sounds great, but what do I actually do with tofu? Don't worry. Tofu is incredibly versatile. It takes on the flavors of whatever you cook it with, and it fits into just about any meal of the day. Here are a few easy ideas. Pan fry it. Slice firm tofu into cubes and toss it into a hot skillet with olive oil, a little sea salt, black pepper, and garlic powder. Serve with cooked greens or brown rice for a hearty lunch or dinner. Stir fry it. Sauté tofu with broccoli, bell peppers, carrots, and a splash of low-sodium soy sauce. You'll get a colorful, satisfying meal that's rich in nutrients. Roast it. Marinate tofu in lemon juice, garlic, and honey, then bake at 375 degrees for 25 minutes. It comes out lightly crisp on the outside and tender on the inside. Want something cool and creamy? Blend silken tofu with a ripe banana and a spoonful of almond butter for a protein-rich smoothie. Or make a dairy-free dessert mixed tofu with cocoa powder, vanilla, and a little maple syrup. You'll end up with a chocolate pudding that feels indulgent but supports your health. And if you're cutting back on dairy either because of digestion or personal choice, tofu is a great way to keep getting both calcium and protein. Now, tofu may not be a trendy superfood splashed across magazine covers. It's simple. It's subtle. But in that simplicity lies something powerful. It doesn't spike your blood sugar. It doesn't stir up inflammation. It goes easy on your digestive system. And most importantly, it supports your joints and your body with gentle, steady strength. So the next time you're at the store, give that quiet little block of tofu a second look. It just might be one of the smartest foods you can bring home for your joints, your bones, and your overall well-being. Living with arthritis can feel like your body is pushing back on even the simplest things. Some mornings, just getting out of bed takes longer. Your knees feel stiff. Your hands don't want to move. Even tying your shoes might feel like a project. But here's something worth remembering: you're not alone. And even more importantly, you're not without options. Your body is still listening to how you move, to how you rest, and yes, to what you feed it. Every small step you take adds up. And often, the quietest changes are the ones that bring the biggest results. Let's go back to 3 simple foods: lentils, chickpeas, and tofu. Nothing fancy, nothing expensive. Just affordable ingredients sitting on shelves at Walmart, Kroger, or Whole Foods, usually for under $3. They don't come with a prescription. You don't need a referral or an insurance plan. But what they offer is something just as powerful: real support from real food. They give your joints clean protein. They bring in fiber that helps calm inflammation. They carry minerals that support movement and recovery. And they do all of this quietly, meal after meal, bite by bite. You don't have to flip your diet upside down overnight. You don't need a strict meal plan or a trendy program with rules that are hard to follow. You can simply begin where you are. Maybe tonight, you add lentils to your favorite soup instead of extra ground beef. Maybe tomorrow, you sprinkle some roasted chickpeas on top of your lunch salad. Maybe this weekend, you give tofu a try, pan seared with a few spices and tossed in a stir fry. These aren't huge changes. But your body doesn't need perfect. It needs steady. It needs thoughtful. It needs care. And that care, when it becomes part of your daily routine, can create real healing. Because every time you choose a meal that supports your joints, you're telling your body something important. You're saying, I'm helping. I'm listening. I'm giving my body what it needs to feel better. And you deserve that. You deserve mornings with less stiffness, afternoons with more energy, the freedom to do the things you enjoy without joint pain slowing you down. So next time you're shopping, take a second look. A pound of lentils for under $2. A can of chickpeas for about $1.20. A block of tofu for less than $2.50. They might not seem like much in your grocery cart, but on your plate they're powerful. If you found this helpful, pass it on. Someone you care about might be living with the same kind of pain and not know where to start. Sometimes, one small tip can make a big difference. And if you'd like to keep learning about everyday foods that help ease arthritis naturally, stay with us. Because every article we share has one goal: to help you feel stronger, more supported, and more at home in your own body. And it all starts with what's right in your kitchen.